Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Who wants an orange whip? Orange whip? Orange whip? 3 orange whips.
So you're bored, are ya? I've come here to break your monotony. Let me have my piece, because I'm shooting with this one, folks. I don't care, man.
The unscripted, uncensored, loose cannon of commentary.
Why did you say that? Why? Why? You come out with stink like that? Poop. Your poop mouth. Poop out of your mouth.
See, son? Old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum look a lot alike, Daddy.
I've got a midget friend, an albino friend, and another friend who thinks Lord of the Rings is real. Together we call ourselves the Unfuckables.
Winton is in. Let the fun begin.
Body touch.
God, you're an asshole, man.
I've never heard of Van Halen.
We have heard of Van Halen, Carrie. Hello, Las Vegas. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley, and this is another effing podcast. Good day, everybody. Gonna get this out of the way really quick. I have no beer tonight, so I'm gonna sip one for the old man. A little coffee tonight.
Nice.
Oh, make sure you guys hit up all the socials at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, the show page is another effing podcast. And all the info, if you want to donate, that's all in the link. Yada, yada, yada. Very important. I have a couple updates for you guys on what I have going on tomorrow night here in beautiful Las Vegas. There's a show at the Copa Room called, I think it's called Copa Room Live or something like that. I should know this because I'm hosting the show. It is tomorrow night at the Bootlegger, and is in the Copa Room at the Bootlegger, a very cool live venue here. And they're honoring music of San Francisco, and this actually works out perfect that Dave is on the show this week from Tesla, a San Francisco band. Ronnie Mancuso, who owns the Bootlegger, is going to be performing. Eric Martin from Mr. Big is going to be there. PJ Farley from Trickster playing with Eric Martin, and of course the miscreants, our local people, are going to be there as well, like Stoney Curtis from the Counts band. The Count himself, Danny Coker, will be there, and a lot of other great folks. I'm hosting that. Tickets are available, and they're going fast. So if you want to get there, get online, get your table, get your tickets right now, because it is going to sell out. December 5th, I will be in Nashville hosting Rare Hair. They're honoring Desmond Child. So that should be fun. Hosting that with my good friend Courtney Cronin-Dold, who I co-host and produce Punchlines and Backlines with. I'm trying to calm. I always move too fast, Dave. I don't know what it is. I just always move too fast. I want to push forward because I want to get to you. Ladies and gentlemen, from Tesla, Dave Root is joining us. He has a brand new record. It's available on pre-order right now, correct?
Yep.
It is at ratpakrecords.com. It's called Through the Fire. I just listened to it. It is very good. But before we get to that, Dave, there's something very important that we have to talk about. This is the important shit that always has to go first.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but we were waiting to get off the boat, the Monsters of Rock cruise, and you guys will be on Monsters of the Mountain. Let's not forget that. You guys will be on Monsters of the Mountain. It has been officially said. Frank was on when you guys were in Vegas. He's like, yeah, we're going to be on the mountain. I'm like, Frank, I don't think Larry's announced that yet.
I think that's some behind the scenes stuff. But now I saw an ad on Instagram, so I know it's true.
Yes, it is true. It is true. But here's the important thing. It was myself, you, and Frank. And we were sitting up at the top of the boat waiting to get off.
Oh, right. Yeah. And that lounge, right? I remember.
In that lounge. And we were talking about Kiss.
Okay.
And Frank's like, I never got into Kiss. And we were both like, Frank, you need to get into Kiss. Well, Dave, I don't know if you know this, but it worked. Frank went through a Kiss phase. We did it. We got the heavy metal happy to listen to Kiss.
Yes. All right, dude.
Oh, my God. It's great. It's great. Of course, he just named off songs that run alive, but that's okay. It's a start.
To be fair, that's the only Kiss record I have, but I have seen them live a bunch of times, and they are a sight to behold, man. I mean, Kiss live. I've always said you could have never heard them and you'll still be entertained. Like that's a fun.
right.
It's like go to see Cirque du Soleil, and if you like rock and roll, even better.
Exactly. No, hold on. No, you're younger than me, I think, right? I'm 51.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. You don't look 51. Yeah, I'm 45. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get
same
into
generation though. We still
same
grew up on
generation, but still, I got to know, when's the first time you saw Kiss? How old were you?
You know, older. You know, I was a later convert. I mean, let's see. I saw them. It's funny now. I think it was 97, 98 on the first farewell tour 30 years ago.
No, that was still the reunion tour because that was still pre-Psycho Circus. So it was still technically the reunion tour. The farewell tour was 2000.
It didn't start till 2000?
Yeah.
Okay. Then it was a reunion tour. So
okay.
Yeah, when Ace and Peter were there, it was at Concord Pavilion. We somehow got up hella close, and I got, at the end of the night, he threw it out. I got Paul Stanley's mic cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a weird thing to get, right? But like,
right?
I guess he must have taken it off and threw it out like a pick, right? But I had it for years, and I still remember the cool thing. There was white face paint all over it because he'd been touching it. I was like,
of course
there'd be paint on it. Like, how cool is that?
Exactly. That was before he was lip syncing. It was awesome. Did I say that out loud? Paul, I'm sorry.
I didn't know they're lips. I thought they're all live.
Oh, it did. Look, here's the thing with Kiss right now, and I knew we were going to go down this rabbit hole. It always happens. It's such a production now with all the video. It's all on click. There's tons of tracks, and Paul's voice is rough. Okay. So he's been singing to a track a lot, and it's blatant. But anyways, that doesn't matter. And it's so funny because somebody commented on the photo. He goes, "Oh, great, they're going to be talking about what their favorite Kiss song is." Yep, it happened. I'm sorry.
Already. But I will say one thing. I saw them then a couple, one or two times after that. And then, with Tesla, we played with them a couple times. With the new lineup with Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Great players and great guys. And honestly, it blew the original guys out of the water. It was like so much better with the new guys. I was like, whoa, it just sounded great. It was great the first time.
Yeah.
Even better with the new guys.
Well, here's the thing. Nobody can play those songs like Ace. And you know this. You can play all the notes, but you can't play them like Ace. Because he has a swagger to how he plays. It's like Keith Richards. There's a swagger to his playing.
Yeah. For sure.
So, all right. Anyways, let's talk about the record. It is called Through the Fire. It is available for pre-order on Rat Pak Records. Now, when is it going to be physically available? I saw photos of you signing a lot of shit.
Yes. Yeah, I signed a whole bunch of vinyl and CDs. And the record is officially coming out next Friday, the 17th.
Oh shit. Well, this is perfect timing then.
Yeah, it's great. It worked out great, but it's been it's available for pre-order now, and they all sorts of cool, crazy fan stuff with autograph versions and stuff with stickers and hologram things and patches and all sorts of cool shit. It's pretty fun.
And cassettes. I saw you have cassettes.
Look at that.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I don't know where anyone's going to play it, but it does exist.
I actually have cassettes. I still listen to cassettes.
See, that's awesome. I mean, that was my favorite part. I remember thinking when CDs were like, "Oh, that's too new school, man. I'm keeping it real," and I wouldn't get a CD player. But now you can't even listen to anything if it's not on your phone.
Oh, I know. It's just, fuck, new cars are coming without CD players. It's like,
that's why we got one, and that's why I stopped listening to CDs. So like, I can't do it anymore. I physically can't. Sucks. Yeah.
That's why you have to get old cars. Get yourself a 77 Bandit Trans Am with an 8-track in it and just go and have fun. That's what it's all about.
Next album going to be on 8-track. Gotcha.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Cheap Trick put out an 8-track about 20 years ago just so they could have the #1 selling 8-track in the country.
It must have been the world. I mean,
yeah, of course.
All right.
Of course. So, Dave, how long have you been working on this record? Because now this is just a solo Dave Rude. This is not Dave Rude band, correct?
Right. Yeah. Because before it really was a band, and that was, it's been 10 years since I was doing that band. And we did a lot of stuff. We were like a real band, and we'd rehearse and tour and do the whole thing. And after a while, we just stopped doing it. And I wasn't planning to do any more solo stuff, but eventually I was like, well, it'd be fun to just do a record like as a recorded piece, you know, just to put some music out there and it'd be fun. And so I started working on it like a hell of years ago. Honestly, I started working on some of these songs in like 2013, 2014.
Oh, wow.
And then every time I started pick up some steam, Tesla would get really busy, right? We'd start like, oh, we're going to make a new Tesla record. Like, all right, cool. So I put all this on the back burner and work on Tesla. And then going on a big tour. Okay, yeah, we'll work on it later. But, you know, I got a Pro Tools rig I bring with me on tour. And so, you know, I would still bring it with. And when we weren't working on a new Tesla album, I would be working on these songs in dressing rooms and hotels and, you know, all that. So it was really fun. And then it was like 95% done right before COVID. I was going to put this out in summer 2020.
Oh, wow.
I already had plans to tour and it was like all this stuff. And then I was like, oh, I guess none of that's going to happen. So, you know, that did add an extra 2 years because then like that 5% took a really long time to finish.
Right. Well, you said you were planning to tour. Was Tesla planning a break at that time? Because Tesla's constantly working.
Dude, it was weird because we still tour a lot and we were touring a lot then, but it was a weird summer where for some reason in 2020 we were gonna have like almost all of July off, which never, I mean, seriously, since I've been in the band, we never had any chunk of time in the summer more than like a week. Like
that's touring season. Yeah,
that's it. So I was like, are we serious? And I checked with our booking agent, like, we're not going to book anything on these dates. Like, nope, we're taking for some, you know, we were super busy. It was just, it happened to be those were the times off. So I was already like, I hadn't like actually booked it, but the wheels were turning, like the things were gonna, you know, anyways, it all worked out. And finally it's done and here. So, you know, I can finally stop talking about, I'm going to put out a new record once. You know? I swear. So,
and you know, I saw the video and I'm like, holy shit, that's my good buddy Britt Pinella. How do you Britt? I know Britt. Yeah, Blackboard Jungle, baby. Come on. I saw Blackboard Jungle in the 90s when they were on tour of Faster Pussycat in St. Joe, Minnesota. So I didn't know him then, but when I moved to LA, that somehow it all happened. I got to know him. How obviously, you know, Northern California guy, that's how you know him, right?
Yeah, I've known Britt for years, man, probably 20 years. A couple of years before I was even in Tesla, I was in club bands here, and so was he, because he lives up here in the Bay now. Yeah. And so, you know, we would always end up doing gigs together and see him at other shows, like, you know, because he likes all this cool classic rock stuff. And there used to be a place called The Pound in San Francisco, and all the 80s bands and even some 70s bands would go. There was like 500-600 people, but, you know, whatever version of LA Guns and Rat and whoever, Steven Adler, all those bands they'd hit like LA, you know, Bakersfield, The Pound, and Sacramento. And like, so my band would open for all of them, or his band would open for all of them. And either way, we'd be at the show hanging out. And so we were just always buddies. And, you know, on the record, I actually played all the bass, but I was like, well, it'll look stupid if it's just me and a drummer. So who do I know that's cool and like gets it and like is gonna, like, I know he's gonna show up and look cool and have great gear. And he did. I mean, the stuff he had like to choose from, all these classic basses, and like, you know, it was great. And you know, Britt's the real deal. He's awesome.
Oh, he is. He's got swagger. He definitely has swagger. So when you play live, are you going to do it as a 3-piece or a 4-piece?
I don't know. If I do some, I do want to do live stuff, and there's some, you know, again, kind of the wheels are sort of starting to turn, because, you know, we've got more time where it could happen. I could do it as a 3-piece. You know, if you listen to the record, I did do, like, because originally it was just, I'm making an album, there is no band, I don't have to worry about playing it live. So I did all production. Like, there's tons of guitars and backups and triangles. There's not actually triangle, but you know,
there should be.
Hold on, I'm gonna remix it. We're gonna push it back. Okay, that's not true either. But you know, there's a lot of production in ear candy. So a part of me, and tons of backup vocals and harmony. So a part of me doesn't want to do it as a trio. But I could pull it off. So we'll see. I mean, it could work as a 3. It would be ideal to have a rhythm guitar player who can sing his ass off so he can do some of the high shit.
Well, I suppose in Tesla, it's, you know, it's a 2-guitar band. You've been playing with a two guitar band since, I mean, what 2000, early 2000, was it?
Yeah, 06.
06.
Yeah, crazy, a long time.
I know. Oh, so let's jump to the chat room really quick here. Scotty
yeah.
Strickland checking in from Canada. Where is it?
Take off, you hoser!
All right. April saying hi from Nashville. We know April. We love April. Blake Stone wants to know, can you tell us a little bit about working with Fitzy on mastering it?
Oh, yeah. So Fitz is the guitar player in Bad Marriage.
Okay.
And they, I think they did Monsters on the Mountain once, like 8 years ago. And they're great friends of ours, and they opened for us a bunch. Like they were kind of the perennial support band for Tesla. And so we're all buddies with those dudes. And so Brian Wheat from Tesla mixed my album. And it sounds amazing. He's such a great, everything. He produces and writes and does all this stuff for other bands, and that's like a whole side career thing he does, and it's amazing. But he's a really, really great mixing engineer just on his own. So I had him mix it, and he has a good working relationship with Fitz, and because Fitz has a whole mastering business, and Fitz is great, right? But I didn't even know this. I thought, oh, he's a guitar player in Bad Marriage. It's like,
yeah,
oh, he's actually a mastering guy. I was like, really, Fitz? He's like, yeah, but he's really good, dude. Like, give him. So he like mixed or mastered like one song. I was like, fuck, dude, this is amazing. So he mastered the whole record, and it was a breeze. And he and Brian have a really good like sort of synchronicity with sending tracks back and forth, and it was real quick. And he was awesome, and it sounds great.
When you were, so you said you recorded pretty much all this yourself. Was there any part of you that did want to just get in a room and do it with the band and just say, hey, this is what you're going to play, but this is my stuff?
Yeah, and I would totally love to do something like that in the future. It was just sort of the nature of the beast of how this record worked out, because it was such a stop and start long-term project. And because I was doing a lot of it just alone in a room somewhere in some city somewhere, where, normally, like you make a record, it's like, okay, hey, from February to March, we're going to work on this record, or whatever, February to however long, and you kind of have a thing and a deadline. There was zero deadline. I wasn't even know if I was going to release it. It's like, well, let me try and make up some songs. So it was a little bit different in that respect. And so I kind of had to do it that way. But yeah, I would love to do that again, because, obviously I get to do it all the time with Tesla. Be playing live and stuff. And when we work on songs, a lot of times it is just us jamming in a room, like, you never know. So there's a lot of sort of spark to that. And there's definitely a part of me that misses, like, outside of Tesla having that sort of outlet. So it'd be fun to get some guys and just jam,
Right. Well, when you were writing these songs, I mean, is there anything that like you have ideas like, this is really cool, but this really kind of sounds like Tesla. Maybe should I bring this to those guys? Do you have those moments?
Sometimes I can usually tell, like I can usually feel it in the beginning. And a lot of times, like with Tesla, like I'll sort of intentionally be right. It's like, oh, we're gonna make a record, or we're looking for a song. So I'll sort of be like, okay, what sounds like Tesla? And I'll kind of, you never know what's coming out, right? It just happens. But you can also sort of focus and try and go for it, and maybe it'll come out in that direction. And so I feel like usually that's how the Tesla stuff has come out. But I mean, a lot of this stuff on the record really was just unconscious. I'm just jamming. Yeah. Like, oh, that's cool. And I don't know. It's sort of an after the fact thing. I'll kind of get to like, oh, I really like this. It's cool. I'll come up with a thing. And then once it's sort of out of my brain and like I kind of got those juices, I was like, okay, oh, now I can like look at it. Like I haven't heard it before. Like, what is this? Where should this go? So none of these ones did. I mean, there was maybe one or two. I was like, oh, that could kind of go in a Tesla direction, it all sort of worked out organically to end up how it did.
Troy Rosenfelder, welcome to the show, Troy. He says, Dave Rude, my guy, congratulations on your new album. I love it, and I'll see you in Melbourne and Tampa. Look at that, 2 shows.
Dude, yeah, Melbourne. We got a bunch of Florida dates in January.
Yeah. I did want to ask, so Drink with the Devil. Do you not drink? Do you dabble a little bit? I mean, Drink the Devil kind of seems like one of those I don't drink songs.
Right.
I didn't know how else to put it.
No, that's a good point. No, absolutely. I do drink, and it's not a sobriety song. It's just right? Which I mean, hey, there are definitely some very good spray songs.
Oh no, absolutely.
Still though, it kind of can be a little grating. Like, oh God, okay, I get it. You don't drink, bro. Like, just write a song, right? But sometimes they're great. But no, it is definitely not that. It's just, I don't know. To me, just sort of a cool concept. It's literally like about if you were sitting at the bar drinking with the
shit. Oh, there you go. I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's right. It's actually kind of evil and like badass. So, you know.
You got to bear with me. I've been watching a lot of Beavis and Butthead lately because I signed up for Paramount Plus so I could watch a Milli Vanilli documentary. And
wait, I have Paramount Plus. Is that on?
Oh,
already?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, dude. It's awesome. And
dude, Milli Vanilli was one of my favorite bands when I was in like 5th grade. I used to have the poster on my wall.
Dude, I don't know how much of the story I mean, obviously everybody knows what happened, but I don't know if you know how much of the story.
Not much.
That this guy that produced them did this in the 70s. In Europe, he did the exact same thing, and then he did the Milli Vanilli thing. And then once they got busted, he came back with the quote unquote real Milli Vanilli with the real voices, and it was still fake people.
No way.
It was the same fucking thing. It was.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, but dude, that story, holy shit! It definitely watch it. So, anyways, my point was I forgot to cancel it, so now I have it for a month, and I'm just watching Beavis and Butthead for a month because
they got me too, man. I got hooked on what it is. It's the airplanes. I got hooked on Tulsa King. This alone on airplanes, and I was like, well, we don't have any gigs for like 2 weeks. I gotta find out what happened next. So like all of a sudden I got a new streaming service.
My favorite part about watching Beavis and Butthead now is when they're watching the videos and I see bands that I'm friends with. It's the weirdest fucking thing. There was this, I can't remember what they were watching, and there was like all these horrible like devils in there. And my head goes, I've seen scarier devils than Mr. Big videos. And of course I had to text that to Eric Martin immediately because I could do that. It's so fucking weird. Anyways,
weird. Yeah.
Back to the record. Is there a particular song on here that you think like identifies as you?
Oh man.
I know that's a weird question, but it just popped in my head.
It's a good one. The single Hell and Back, that one, that was always one of my favorites. And then maybe the title track Through the Fire. Both of those are like, those ones really resonate with me just personally. Like I'm feeling those ones, you know?
Yeah. How does this record, how do these songs compare to what the Dave Rude Band was doing?
I feel like it's the same sort of progression. Like it's not like, whoa, it's drastically different. Like, right. For the people who have any of the older records, like it'll be like, oh yeah, cool, it's that band. It definitely sounds, a lot better, just sonically, and but like I'm proud of the old stuff too. I do think these songs are better. I've been doing the last bunch of years. I've just focused a lot more on songwriting, the craft, right, and I do a lot of writing outside of the band and for other people, and that sort of changes the way you write. Of course, these ones I did kind of just write more for me and my own little sort of vanity project mindset, but still, just the fact of doing more writing, hopefully made them a little bit hookier.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: writing for other people and then writing with Tesla. When you are writing with Tesla, is there anything in your head where it's like, I need this, I want it to come out sounding like classic Tesla, like what would Tommy do? Or do you just have, fuck that, I'm just going to make it sound like me?
It's sort of like a maybe threading the needle a little bit of both. Yeah. It also depends on the project with us, because like we've had, some records where it's like, let's kind of be more old school, right? And then other ones are like, no, let's be super modern and compete with all the bands on like active rock radio. And in that case, you definitely don't want to sound like old school Tesla. You don't want to sound like old school. Right. So like Forevermore, that's what we were like, no, what's happening now that is still us, but is not like the old stuff. We're then more like a Simplicity or some of the other stuff is more like, let's go back and kind of like lean into the classic sound. And so it'd be more like, I'll come up with a lot of stuff, right? And then it's like, it's really just I like to let it all happen, let it all come out, and then weed it, right? Like it's a garden. Like, okay, I'll like this one. Nope. Nope. And this one's kind of good, right? And then like, so if it's for that project, it's like, well, it's kind of old school. This one kind of sounds like that. Like I've done that. I've started like, what's a cool vibe that sounds like Classic Tesla, but isn't. I don't know. It's a weird thing to say in words, right? And it's also a sort of difficult thing to do, but I don't know. It's kind of alchemy, you know. I feel like there's like a really fine line of being old school, but with some kind of new thing. Because to me, there's nothing worse than when a band like goes back and is like, hey, it sounds like the first record, but they're just like B-side ass, like oh yeah, I can see why that didn't make the first record, you know, kind of thing.
Right.
But there's also nothing worse than like an old school band trying to be held current and like sound like some new band is like, oh man, that's pathetic. You're trying to be like the kids. And so you gotta find this way where it's, you know, like when we're doing more modern stuff, it's a modern sound, but it's stuff that we still like, you know, we'll come up with stuff that's like, whoa, that's too modern. That doesn't sound like us, but it's cool. And then we don't throw that one out, but then you find one that maybe does fit, where there's a balance.
Well, I think, you know, it's cool because you're you know, younger. You kind of watched that progression. You saw the 80s bands try to do that, and then when they came back doing what they do, it's like, well, that's how it's fucking supposed to sound.
Right, and sometimes it's great when a band goes back to the class. Like, dude, that last Van Halen record, I love, dude. Different Kind of Truth, fucking great. I mean, every song, and I read like Wolfie went through the old B-sides from the 70s and 80s, and I was like, thank God he did, because those songs are killer, and like I love that record. So it definitely can work. It just depends. I've just heard a lot of times where it didn't. And it's like, you know. So there's I don't know. I also feel like as long as the people in the band are enjoying it and excited, that usually makes it good in some way. It's fun, at least, you know.
Oh, Mike Fitz jumping in the chat.
There he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Fitz. He's throwing metal horns and the high fives and says, amazing record. It was an honor to be part of it.
Oh,
did somebody text him and let him know that he was being talked about? Was there like a Fitzy symbol that was thrown up? I don't know. Blake Stone.
Bat signal out in there.
Blake Stone, which guitar did you play most on this? The V?
You know, the V actually is on it a lot, because it's funny, a lot of these that ended up on the record I thought were demos. I was like, oh well, you know, when I'm done touring, I'll redo it all. But I was like, fuck, I got some cool stuff, like in a lot of the leads. So, and my point being, on like a day off, I might bring my V because that's what I'm touring with.
Yeah.
And I just go into a hotel room and or in a dressing room, and it's like whatever guitar I got nearby is what I would record on. Again, thinking, well, I'll do a real version later. But sometimes some of the solos were just really weird, and I did notice I got some very unexpected things because I thought it was throwaway. And that's a fun thing to do when there's like zero pressure. It's like, oh well, okay, I guess like you're ready when you got your count in. It's like, okay, it'll be like some yada yada. All right, okay, but then I'll do a real thing later. And you're just trying to like a placeholder. But then I'd listen back like, whoa, that was weird, because I wasn't like trying to be cool. I wasn't like, okay, bro, best solo of the year, go, right? Because it never works, right? But when you're not trying, you just letting yourself like have fun, like, ooh, that's kind of fun. And like, that's usually for me when the best stuff comes out. So a lot of it was the V, and then this guy, number one.
Oh yeah, that's
one of a bunch. This one's cool. It looks like some like relics Murphy lab, but it's just that I wear a lot of jewelry and
oh yeah, well, dude, that's character. That's
right?
character,
yeah,
baby.
character.
It's character because you did it.
That's my thought. Like, you know, I'll relic my own guitars. And then also I got a Slash Les Paul that records really well. I used it a lot on the Shock record for Tesla. It just records fantastic. So that's on there a bunch too. But those are probably the three main ones. And that Explorer too, that guy's been on there a bunch.
Nice. Well, so you were talking about the difference between the old school and the new school and Tesla. maybe, you know how I am. I jump all around. You go back to your record, then everything else. Whatever.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
The record you guys did with Phil Collin, that obviously had a very different sound than Tesla. It was like a morph between the Leopard and Tesla sound. Was that when you guys were doing that? What were your thoughts on how the sound was coming out?
That one we were sort of going. It was not a focus like we want this particular sound overall. It was more. It was really song based. And I mean, I love that record and I loved making it. And that one was super fun for me. And that ended up being sort of a lot of how I made method wise, how I did this solo record where it was on tour and just sort of picking, also no rush. Like we took a long time with Shock. And because there was no deadline up for most of the time with this record, I was like, right, I'd come back a month or two later, check it out. I'm like, maybe I'll change the bridge, whatever. There was no like deadline. So that helped. But with Shock, it was more like, let's have a song that's like in this vein, and let's have like a ballad, and then let's have a song kind of like this. And sort of went stylistically on that, and then, you know, full production, which again, as a musician, but also as a listener, I love that stuff. You know, like people say, oh, things when sometimes people criticism of that record or any record, like, oh, it's overproduced. As a term, I mean, it can be overproduced, but for me, overproduced rules. Like, because overproduced is just more fun stuff to listen to. As long as the songs are good, it just makes it bigger. I want a lot of ear candy on harmonies and 9 guitar tracks because it sounds cool. I mean, I love the bare bones stuff too, but I guess there's not really a right or wrong. But I do like that. And so we were going like big sound, big production, you know, overproduced, but on purpose, and make it just, you know, we wanted it to sound expensive, and to me, it does.
So you talk about, you know, having all this time to work on stuff, and then, I want to go back and change this. I hear something. Maybe I should change that too. Do you think that's a little bit too much though, instead of just going with your gut from what you originally did?
It can, but not always. Like that's also a danger, right? With most musicians, definitely with me, like endless time is like, then it's endless tinkering. You know, like when we were going back and forth, you know, those years before this record was done, I was calling this my Chinese democracy to the label. You know, like this is straight up Chinese rude democracy. Because like it was like, come on, man, 10 years, what? I was busy, to be fair.
Right, you were busy.
I wasn't sitting there. But still, I mean, I think sometimes the initial thing is best. But because this also is one of the only times I wrote everything myself. I didn't have any co-writers, which I usually do. Right. I love co-writing. It just ended up this way. And so one thing that I like to use, like a trick I use when I'm writing something by myself, is like I'll write something and then I'll wait and I'll come back a day or a week later and listen to it again. And then it's kind of like you're a co-writer. It's like you got another guy because you got fresh ears. You haven't been thinking about it. You haven't listened to it. It's like, ooh, that third line is awful. I got to rewrite that. Versus when you're in the moment, you're like, oh, it's awesome. I got it. And everything rhymes. It's done. But it might not be great. And if you had another guy in the room, you'd be like, that third line sucks, dude. Right. You know, so you can kind of use time as in that placeholder. But I mean, you definitely can't overthink it, right? And it can take the fire out of it. But again, just because this record was me being me in a room, it was sort of the only way it could happen. And and to be fair, there's a song on there called "Eye for an Eye." That actually was the first riff I wrote for this record.
Oh wow!
A couple of years ago. And that one I had finished before COVID, and I hated the vocals. I hated the lyrics. I was just like, it was like one of the last things we recorded. And I was like, I just got to get this record done. And then all of a sudden we got 2 years off. So I rewrote all the vocals and all the lyrics and the melodies and everything. And so I redid it. And now I'm 100% happier. So it can have an upside too. You know, it just sort of depends on the situation.
Scotty from Canada wants to know if you are going to be bringing back the Dave Rude for President t-shirts.
You know, it's funny. I love those shirts. We did that for the Key record, and I'll still see people in Tesla crowd sometimes with them, and I think they're hilarious. In the current political climate, I was
yeah.
I mean, literally, we were talking with the label, like, oh, it'd be great. Maybe we should, and you know, it's 2023 next year. Like, it could be a thing. Especially, this was originally going to come out in 2020. Like, could you imagine? No, they root for president shirts. So I was like, yeah.
But actually, you know what? That's the perfect thing to do it. That's the perfect time to do it. It really, because you're not making a political statement.
No, I know.
You're not showing left or right. You're just putting out a fun shirt.
Exactly. And so, I mean, there was that argument. I was like, well, it's kind of funny, but so you know what? Let's play it safe. Go nowhere near politics on this one. But I don't know. Maybe you know what? If for the next record, which hopefully will not be 10 years, I can put out a president shirt and it won't be controversial.
There you go. You've done a lot of covers records with Tesla. Well, a couple at least. Do you have a favorite track that you've done on those cover records? Because those things are great. Those reel to reels are great. And I know Frank said they're coming out again. There's a special edition on vinyl that's coming out.
Yeah, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, that'll be so fun. Gosh, I really loved it. That was it was crazy because that was so new to me. I'd only been in the band a few months at that point.
Oh wow.
Which is, I mean, like insane. Like you if you were like this established band, you let some dumb kid who's been there for like 3 months be on your record, like whoa, like it really shows how cool and open they were.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I could have been a jerk or an idiot or something. I mean, like, kind of am an idiot, but you know what I'm saying. We had a lot of fun doing that, so it's, I don't know, it's just got a spark. One of my favorite songs on there, I don't do much on, but it was just so much fun, and I really love Jeff's vocal on it. It's called "Stealin'."
Oh yeah, stealing what I should have been buying.
Yeah, dude. And there's not even like a lot of guitar. I think there is a solo that Frank does, but it's pretty much a chord strummy, easy guitar. But it's all about the vocals. And Jeff sounds so good. And there's this harmony thing we would do at the end with the background vocals. And we would do that one live on the Reel to Reel tour. And it was like so much fun. So that one always stood out. I always loved Walk Away, the James Gang song.
Yep.
And then, you know what one we did that was cool? And we used to do that live. It was the Thin Lizzy song. Bad Reputation.
Yep.
That was killer. And me and Frank do like a dual solo. That was badass.
Well, let me ask you this. Because of your age, was there anything on those records that you had never heard?
I had never heard Stealin'.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know that I had heard Walk Away, actually.
Had you heard the Alice Cooper song? Is it my body?
I had, but I was not super familiar with it. There was a lot of those were deep tracks. Like this actually was another one that one of my favorites was the BTO song. I can't remember what it was called, but it was
hold it.
Not Fragile.
Let's see, the BTO song.
Not Fragile.
Okay, Deep Purple, James Gang, Guess Who, Thin Lizzy, Led Zeppelin, Beatles, Robin Trower.
I think it was BTO, right?
Let's see. Then there's.
I think it was called Not Fragile, but now I'm not sure if the artist was BTO.
Oh yeah. Not Fragile is shit. That might have been on the second one.
Oh right, because it was split on the two, right?
Right. Well, hold on. Reel to Reel 2. Not Fragile. Let's see. Of course, this doesn't list the artist.
Right.
God damn it.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Wikipedia. Here we go. Not Fragile. Yeah, BTO.
BTO. Okay. That song I had never heard. A Space Truck, and I knew. Yeah, there was a few that I was like, like kind of B-sides. Like, you know what? Even one that actually is a well-known song I just wasn't familiar with. It was Dear Mr. Fantasy, the Traffic song.
Yeah.
A lot of those, I was like, kind of maybe heard it here and there. So that was fun, but it was great too, because then it's like you get to learn a whole new thing, and it was the right vibe for the bands. And that one we did. I mean, that was all live in the studio. And then we maybe overdub a guitar here and there, and Jeff would sing it. But he did sing live with us. We'd all be in the live room, and Jeff would be in the control room with like an SM57, like right in front of the monitors, like singing his heart out. And the only reason we re-sang it was just to be on a better mic. Like he sounded amazing even on the bad mic. And so it was, that record is almost live in the studio.
And you guys did that on the Aerosmith track that you guys did on the last live record, correct?
Oh, right. Yeah. On Full Throttle Live record, we did SOS, which is another cool, oh God, that reminds me. That's another one of my favorite ones from Real to Real was Seasons of Wither. Because that's one of my favorite, not only Aerosmith songs, that's one of my favorite songs, period.
Oh, it's so badass. So
I mean, that is just one of the most cool, like weird, like no formula, just amazing dark songs ever.
Well, on the cruise last year, I did my cruiser jam was Aerosmith.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't put Seasons of Weather in there because it might be too deep and it's really hard.
Dude, like you got to know that. So you can't go up there like drunk and be like, yeah, I'll follow along. Like, no, this is not Highway to Hell, man.
And I think I've noticed about Aerosmith, which I also noticed about Cheap Trick. It is deceptively, it's like, it's Aerosmith. It can't be that fucking hard. Right. It's Cheap Trick. It can't be that fucking hard. And then you start listening and learning. You're like, what the fuck? What? Dude, they were messed up out of their minds and they came up with this magic. It's just, it blows my mind.
Yeah. No, I mean, Cheap Trick does this weird changes, weird timings, and all that shit.
Yeah, it's so goddamn cool. How old were you when you were in your 20s when you got into Tesla, correct?
Yeah, I was 27, I think.
And you were a fan of the band.
Yeah, I grew up loving Tesla. Yeah.
How did the whole thing happen? Where were you when you got the call? Where were you when they asked you to try out? How did all this happen?
It's funny. I was walking a dog actually. Walking a dog. That was one of my like part-time musician jobs that I was doing, like playing clubs, and I had all these like weird sort of here, a couple hours here, a couple hours there kind of thing. So I could if I needed to go and be on tour, weird rehearsals, all that. I wasn't locked into a schedule, and a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey man, Frank Hannon just called me, and he's gonna call you." Like, what? Like, yeah, he found me. Frank found me on MySpace because I was on somebody else's. He was talking to another guy who's a mutual friend, a great guy named Earhorth, and I was in his top 8. Remember the top 8? Right? Yes, of course. You put like your favorite friends or whatever, and I was, this was before smartphones. It was like you had to log on to a laptop to get on social media, and I was brand new. Like I think I had started that MySpace like 6 months before. It was not like some viral sensation. It was like 100, followers. It was not big, and I didn't even know Craig had me in his top 8, and it was like a cool photo from the old band I was in where like a pro photographer took a shot and it's like the lights just look good, Right. And so, he's talking to him and he's like, oh yeah, and I can't do it. He was talking about doing a solo tour with Frank Hannon Band. Okay. And he was on the phone, like looking at his computer, like, well, who's this guy, Dave Rude? He looked like a rock and roll. He's like, oh, Dave's cool. You should call him. So, I was out working and he's like, okay, I will. And he gave him my number and he said, hey man, I gave Frank your number, So you might like get an email from him or a call. So at least I knew it was legit. And then I got home that night and I like went to my MySpace messages, like the direct messages. And there was a thing from Frank, which I never would have believed if he hadn't already told me. So I was like, whoa, this is really Frank. And it was like a Monday or Tuesday. And Frank was doing a gig on Friday in Sacramento. So he invited me to come up and jam. And he was having a bunch of guitar players get up that night. And so I drove up there early and met him at soundcheck. I never met him, and hung out with him, went to his house before the show, and he did kind of tell me, hey, I'm kind of looking for someone in Tesla too. I was like, whoa, cool. And we went up, and there's actually YouTube of the show because we, it was packed, like it was awesome. And we did Walk This Way and Stranglehold, and there's YouTube footage of it the first time we ever played together. And it was really, really fun. We hit it off. We jammed again the next day. A week later, he like came down to Oakland and jammed with me down here. And, it just worked out. And then, so I went and did the tour with his solo band. It was like 2 weeks in an RV, doing clubs. And it was super fun. We did like almost all Tesla songs, because at that point I was just trying to learn the set.
Yeah, for sure.
In March or April, and we were going to start the Tesla tour in June, and we hadn't announced anything yet, but it was like, all that, and it just really worked well. And he took me around to each guy in Tesla and like introduced me, and then like 2 weeks later I'd meet Brian, and then a week later Frank, or Jeff came over, stuff like that. And we never even jammed. Like it was already like, okay, he's in the band, or at least, for this summer.
Right.
And we did a full like production rehearsal and in Oakland. And actually it was funny, it was at the studio that I worked at. I still currently at this point still actually was working there. I was like, well, I can get us a room. So we came down. I was like, hey man, can you cover my shift? I got to rehearse with Tesla today. And we're gonna need like 6 mics and 6 stands and some cables. Not really, like we had the whole room.
Yeah.
But it literally was the place. And so I mean, that was the first day I met Troy, was when we were rehearsing. It was crazy. And the crew guys, like I met my guitar tech, like, hi, I have a guitar tech now. It was very surreal.
Tech? Oh my God, I have a tech? What the hell?
It was pretty surreal, just like walking, like, what's a monitor engineer? Like, what does that guy do? Like, what's a production man? Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, so it was a big change, and it was fun, and it was really rapid, but it worked great.
What's your, I mean, what was going through your head that like you guys go through the first song when you're playing that first song with the band in rehearsal? What goes through your head?
Just how weird it was. Like there, it was very surreal, and like that kind of like, am I in a dream kind of feel? Like that was there for a long time. When I still get flashes of it now and then now. Yeah. Usually like it'll be randomly in the middle of a song on stage, be like, whoa, I'm in Tesla. But it's been a long time now. It's been almost 20 years. So
but still, it's awesome.
Few and far between, but it still happens sometimes. But back then it was all the time. It was like, wait, what? And I mean, it might have only lasted a month or two. Like they might have been like, nope, this isn't working. So like, all right. So I was just enjoying it. And it was, but at the same time, it really did feel very natural. And like, it was just like, yeah, of course, this is how it's supposed to be. It was weird. Like it was just, everything synced up. And and I think it felt right for them too. And so it was just very much dreamlike.
How long were you in the band before you guys did the live show, the live DVD that you filmed in Minneapolis?
2 years, but I think it was 2 years, because it's called Coming at You Live 2008, and I joined in 2006. I mean, probably touring wise, less than 2 years, because we might have even shot it in 2007 and it didn't come out till 2008. I don't remember. But yeah, it was funny. It felt like a long time, but looking back, so much of this stuff was very short to all of a sudden be already doing a record, and then a year later doing a DVD, and then
Right. Well, if you go back and watch that, you'll see one photographer in the pit.
Yeah,
that was me.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was me. I was working for RX Magazine. I still have the photos, but unfortunately, I didn't have a pro camera. I just had one of those point and shoot ones. So I still have them. They're a little blurry, but they're still badass, because I was right in front of you most of the time. So I had all these pictures of your bell bottoms, and just going straight up.
I remember those. That's crazy. I didn't know you were there, man. That was
I was there. I was there. And actually, I still have, I think I sent it to you. I still have the first interview I did with you. I think it was, I was on Rockin' 101. I did it for one of the cruises. And
cool.
For all you listening to this, if you go to the YouTube when this show is posted, I will put that at the end of this interview just for fun. I mean, why not?
So, now I'm going to go to the YouTube at the end of this and watch that. That's awesome.
Where the hell was I going to go? Oh yeah. Let's talk about your deal with Gibson. I see behind me that Telecaster back there.
Ooh, nice.
I have a deal with Vintage USA guitars. Now they're not as expensive as Gibson's, but they're fucking great. That my best friend, or one of my best friends, has a Fender 52, and he's like, I can't tell the difference. That's how great they are. So shout out to those guys. And Beater Amplification, that's 2E's beateramplification.com. 100 watts testicular fortitude, baby. Pull two tubes, you have a 53 channels, you got your clean Fender, you got your AC/DC, and you got your Metallica tones, all in that one hand-wired, hand-built head. Badass. And shout out to GHS strings as well. Dude, what goes through your mind when you get a fucking Gibson deal? That's like the holy grail.
Crazy. That again, back into dreamland right there, because that was about 2019, 2018. Because it came out in January 2019. So I guess we were working on it in 2018, and it was like, wait, what? Like, it was, that the V, because I had a relationship with them, because again, kind of by accident. One of the very first times I went to NAMM, it might have been 07. Like, I had barely been in Tesla, and I like accidentally met the president of Epiphone. Like, some guy I knew was like, hey, you should meet this guy. Like, hey, like, I'm a president of Epiphone. Like, whoa, cool. Like, that's a
right.
big deal.
Whoa, cool.
Like, it was the hell of even, but like,
cool.
Right? And 100%, that right there was happening in my mind. And it was the guy named Jim Rosenberg, who used to be, because they've gone through a whole big shift, and it's all new people now. This was 15, 20 years ago. But I had an Epiphone Alley Cat, a semi-hollow, that I still use, the exact same one that I had when I joined the band, because I didn't have two guitars, and I needed one for a weird tuning. So I was like, well, I guess I can use that old like jazz guitar I got.
Yeah.
But it works great, and it looks cool, and it sounds good on that song. So still use it. Told him, hey, I play Epiphones. I love those guitars. Oh, that's great. And we stayed in touch. They sent me some guitars over the years. They did an ad for it's on my wall, the acoustic guitars. They did an ad for a Sheraton that I was playing. And then, so because I had the relationship, I was like on the Leopard tour, on the first Def Leppard tour we did, 2015. A lot of time I can't sleep on the road. And so I'll be up night, like in my bunk, just like reading the news or whatever, trying to sleep. And I was like, I love Metallica. And I think I was maybe watching some old Metallica videos or something, early days. And James had that white V, which wasn't even a Gibson. It was like $100 knockoff or something. But it just looked cool as hell. And I'd never had a V. And I was like, what if I asked maybe Epiphone could like make me one? That'd be fun. So like at like 3 a.m, I'm like sending an email to everyone thinking I'm never even going to get a response. Right. And I didn't get it. I was like, wow, yeah, it was a stupid idea. I shouldn't have emailed anybody at 3 a.m.
That's never a stupid idea.
Right? Exactly. But a month later, the artist rep at the time for Epiphone texted me in the afternoon of our show in Nashville at Bridgestone, opening for Leopard. Hey, what time should we come down with your guitar? Like, what guitar? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that one you asked about, the white V. I was like, wow. What you guys did that? And like, yeah. And so I was like, oh my God. And it was amazing. So
what was your first question? All right, how much do I owe you?
Yeah, right. Like, I'm a little behind on rent. So, no, it blew my mind. And I set it up and I played it for like a year. And it was just so much fun. And it was just a guitar that like made me happy. And it's got a look, right? It's got a thing where you notice it. Even if you don't like it, it's like you remember it, right? Yeah. And everyone would talk about that guitar to me. Like every time we play a show, like literally almost every night, someone would be like, hey man, what's up with that white V, man? It was like, oh, and so I was like, let me talk to them. And they were like, yeah, we should do it like an actual run. And it was right when then the changeover happened to all these new people, which it was great, and the company's even blown up more, and the new guys are amazing, and they just totally set everything up, and it was really, really cool, and really fast. I mean, the first prototype they sent, I thought it was going to be like a year of back and forth. It's like, it's done. This is amazing. I don't want to change anything, so we just
awesome.
It was great.
Look,
super stoked.
And the thing is great about like what the new regime is doing is they're bringing back the quality of the Epiphone, because we all know what the joke used to be, the Epiphone,
Mm-hmm.
But now the quality, it's really jumped up a higher level.
Oh yeah. I mean, 100%. Like this, it's absolutely Gibson quality. Like, if you like blindfold, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And a lot of them are like that. I mean, most of them, because we on days off, I'm always in a Guitar Center, so I've taken some guitars, like I've almost bought so many Epiphones. Like, God, I don't have room. I can't bring these back. But they're great guitars. Like, I'm gonna pay for it. They're killer.
Right. Here's an idea for you for your next guitar.
All right.
For your next guitar. Now, the V's are awesome, but you can't play them sitting down without using your leg as
right.
Look at this guitar. This is a Hondo Coyote. Now on the back of every ZZ Top record, there's a little coyote. So Hondo did a Billy Gibbons Hondo Coyote. Now just picture a V, but with this bottom on it. Hold on.
All right.
So you can play it sitting down, but you still have the top of the V. Now just picture this.
I want to see this. That is amazing.
It's fucking great. It's a $400 guitar. They're
nice.
Shit, they play awesome, but you can play it sitting down. It just sits perfectly on your leg.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just an idea.
Right, just putting it out there. I love it.
There was something else I was gonna ask. Talking about like being on tour with Def Leppard, and you've been in this world for 20 plus years now, or 20 some years now. Do you still get starstruck? Do you still get weirded out?
I mean, yeah, sometimes. Definitely less, right? But like, with Leopard, where it's like, Jesus Christ, those dudes are legends, then it's kind of like when you first meet them, like, whoa, that's Joe Elliott. Whoa, it's pretty mind blowing. And then when you like get introduced to them, and it's like they're normal guys and like really cool and hella funny and like, whoa, you're like a good hang, like awesome.
Right.
This is cool, then it kind of like breaks the ice a little bit. But it's, of course, when you're talking to someone who's some huge guy, it's like it's always in the back of your mind, like, yeah, you're a legend.
Did you ever meet Eddie?
No, never did. I met Sammy a couple times and Michael Anthony, because we've done shows with Sammy solo when Michael's always there anyways.
Yeah.
We did a gig I remember in Belgium. It was the end of our tour. We did a festival in Belgium, Grass Pop, and I think we were support to Chicken Foot when they were on the first record tour, which is a great record and a great band. And those dudes are amazing. And so I've got that far. I never got to meet Eddie. I'm a huge fan, so it's a bummer.
There's a scene in all this shit just randomly pops in my head. There's a scene in Anvil, the movie. Have you seen that? I'm assuming.
I did. It's been a few years, but I did see it. I love that movie.
Remember when they're at that festival in England and Lips sees Tommy Aldridge and totally fanboys out and starts chasing, oh, Tommy.
Right.
When's the last time you had one of those moments?
Oh gosh, I can't think of it. Let me think. Have I had a freak out thing? I normally I'll get shy. Like if there's someone who's like really like, whoa, I'll be like I won't talk. I remember me and one of our techs, Crusher, we always laugh about this. I'm a huge Pantera fan, right? And before the reunion, Phil was out. Phil and some of the Illegals, I think he was calling it, and he was when we were in Europe in 2019, and he was we did several shows with his band when he was doing the solo thing, and he was doing Pantera, and they were great. Like it was a killer fucking show. Anyways, but also because it was just Phil solo, he was like lower on the bill, like we were. We're smaller over there. So we're hanging out in the daytime, and we're like done at like lunchtime, or 2 or 3 were finished. Walking around, and there's like 100 bands, so it's just Rockstar. And I remember like seeing Phil and being like, and he's just like walking around being like, I want to say hi. I want to say hi, but like no. And then the best part was in France we did a big festival called Hellfest, and they got these like communal like locker room bathrooms kind of thing. And like I was in there. And I was like washing my hands before I left, and I could feel a guy next to me, and then I like looked up in the mirror, and it was Phil Anselmo washing his hands. And I was like, it's just like trying not to be Beavis and Butthead. Just like, but I was probably like, you know, I didn't say anything. I mean, I was playing the same festival. He would have been nice.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you know, he looks all mean and like a pop boss at San Quentin, like he's gonna shank me if I talk to him, right? But you know, and I've heard he's the greatest guy ever. But I'm thinking, and so I'm not gonna say anything, and that was it. So I never did meet him, but you know,
well, Dave,
it was an internal freak out, internal fan.
Well, look, the correct answer is when you ran into me at the Gibson Garage.
Also,
so that is the correct answer. Yes.
Yes. I forgot that was during COVID, like when I was like masked up and all. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, way to break my heart. Thanks, man. No, I'm busting your balls. Any last thoughts you want to give us before we make like a tree and get out of here?
No, man, just, you know, thank you so much for having me on. It was great chatting with you. It's been a while.
Fuck yeah, dude. Anytime the brand new album is available for pre-order, comes out this Friday, the 17th. And you go to ratpakrecords.com, daverude.com as well. Find that. And of course, teslahtheband.com to find out everything that's going on with the band Tesla. Gonna see you guys on the mountain this summer. I very much look forward to that. And you guys are talking about possibly doing another Vegas run.
I don't know. I hope so. You know, both of the ones we've done did really well. So, you know, hopefully they'll have us back. I would love to.
Yeah, I caught 2 shows on the last run. It was fucking great as expected. And you guys are talking about a new Tesla record possibly soon as well.
Maybe, you know, we're kind of doing it single at a time. Okay. At this point, you know, like it's easy to get us all together and just do one song real fast.
Right.
Kind of like the SOS thing, but so who knows? Maybe if we keep doing singles and then eventually have enough for a record, or maybe we do go in and try and make up, you know, a chunk all at once plus the first. But you know, we've all talked about it. It's like it's less time that we can be on the road because it takes a while to
that's where all your money is. That's
where all the road. Definitely,
exactly,
because there's zero money in records, right? But
exactly.
They're really just to promote the tour, you know.
I that's one thing I did want to ask you about. I mean, in the current state of the industry, was there part of you is like, fuck, do I really want to go through all of this
for this solo record?
Yeah,
100%, because it's stupid. Like on paper, this is like the dumbest business anyone could ever get into. Like it's like, wait,
right?
What? Why would you're hoping that maybe one day you make a dime? That doesn't make sense. Like, right? It's like the music industry does not make sense.
No,
it's completely illogical. But we're here, and it's what we love to do. It's like it's an affliction and an addiction. There's nothing you can do. You just got to get it out. So if it was for free, I'd do it anyways.
That is the best way to say it. All right, hold on. We're gonna say goodbye off the air. Dave Rude, thank you so much. Check out daverude.com, ratpakrecords.com to get their album Through the Fire, available this Friday, the 17th. I will see you tomorrow night here in Las Vegas at the Copa Room for the Copa Live sessions. Eric Martin from Mr. Big, and I think there's going to be a special guest, possibly. All the great music from San Francisco. I know there is a Tesla song in the set. And there's other San Francisco icons in there as well. And next Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving, I will be hosting Soundcheck Live in Hollywood at the beautiful Lucky Strike right there in Hollywood and Highland. And December 5th, you can catch me in Nashville hosting Rare Hair with my good friend Courtney Cronin. Joel Tyson Leslie puts it on. It's a great show honoring the great songwriting icon Desmond Child. That's going to be a good time. And other than that, I guess we will see you guys next week. Working on my guest. I'm not sure who that's going to be. You know how I roll. And until then, my name is Izzy Presley. I am the host of the program. It is called Another Effing Podcast. And yeah, you know what I lack in talent, I make up for in cock. See you next week.
Rockin' 101 Miller Auto Plaza free ride as promised from Tesla. Still the newbie in Tesla, even though you've been in Tesla for how many years now?
I've been in Tesla for, almost 7.5 years.
Yeah, 7.5. Dave Rude, quote unquote, new guitar player for Tesla. How you doing today, brother?
Oh, man, not much, man. We're getting ready for the show tomorrow night. We're in Indiana today, but as soon as we're done, we're packing up and heading out to Minnesota.
Well, we look forward to having you back. You guys have done the Halfway Jam bit before, and Tesla is always a great show. I'm just curious, has your liver recovered from the Monsters of Rock cruise yet?
You know, I am able to say yes only because I didn't go this year. My wife was very, very pregnant when that cruise was going on, so I actually didn't go, and I sent a friend of mine in as a replacement for just those shows on that boat. And I missed it, and so yeah, my liver's doing fine. But last year, no, not so much.
Yeah, you know, now that you say that, I remember not seeing you.
Yeah, but I'll be back there this year. We're doing it again in March, and it's going to be real fun. We've done it like 5 times, and it's always really cool, and it really gets better every year.
It really does. I mean, and granted, the liver problems probably don't get better every year just because of the amount of drinking that goes on in that bad boy. So let's do it.
Those increase, actually. It's funny. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I think actually, I think
liver problems increase.
I think I'm growing a second liver now because of it, which is fine. You know. So what's new in the Tesla camp? You guys working on any new stuff?
We are. We're working on a new record right now, and while we're on the road as much as we can, we've got a brand new song called "Taste My Pain" that we're putting out on iTunes. I think August 13th. Don't quote me on that, but you can check TeslaBand.com, and it'll probably tell you the right date. I'm pretty sure it's August 13th. But we wrote and recorded that in June, and we've been doing that one live. So tomorrow night, I would say the chance that you're going to actually hear a brand new Tesla song live, whether you want to or not. But it's pretty damn rocking, and we're really excited. So we're really in a creative mode. So we're kind of working on ideas of soundtrack and working on ideas at home and getting together on during time off. Me and Jeff got together, worked on stuff. I know Frank has been doing the same. So it's everybody, we've all been getting together and working on stuff. So I'm excited for a new record. I think it'll probably be recorded in the fall and winter, maybe released early 2014. I hope.
Well, that's great to hear, and I cannot wait to hear the new track. And the one thing I love about Tesla is every record that comes out sounds like Tesla. You guys don't change. You just do what you do.
Oh, man, no thanks. We try and keep it, fresh for us and do it so we enjoy it. We never rehash, but it's, it sounds like us because it is us. And right. That's singing. He's got, such a great, unique voice. It always seems to sound like us,
Now, you guys are known for doing a plethora of cover songs. Got any covers planned for this new record?
No, I don't know. We'll see. I'd actually like to steer away from that because we've done so many of them, but, it's not just me. So we'll see. Maybe there's something that'll just strike our fancy and we'll do it, So we did, we did the double album in 2007. We did and then, some of the hits are covers too. So.
Right. Yeah, well, see, I get giddy about the covers because I actually have a show that all I do is cover songs called Under the Covers. So I have a lot of Tesla in there. Do you have a favorite one that you guys have done?
Well, I mean, at least for the ones that I've been on,
right?
Because obviously Signs would be it, right?
Right.
But the ones that I recorded, I really liked "Walk Away" by James Gang, and I really liked "The Bad Reputation" one we did from Lizzy.
Oh, you can never go wrong with Thin Lizzy, man. That's just all there is to it.
I know, dude. They were so great. Apparently, they're really great now. Their new version, too. I'd love to go see them.
Yeah.
To America.
Yeah, and I like that they changed the name so they didn't release new material as Thin Lizzy, but you listen to it, and it sounds like Thin Lizzy. It's beautiful. It's just like Tesla.
It's gotten great reviews, man. I know Danny Johnson in that band, so I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, that dude is sick. What an amazing guitar player.
He's amazing. Great singer, great guitar player, great writer, everything.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Brother Kane, you just can't go wrong. And a lot of this stuff is going to get cut out, too, because I'm just flying by the seat of my pants right now. So,
that's fine.
Sometimes you get fun stuff out of that anyways. Dave Rude from Tesla joining me on the Miller Auto Plaza free ride, man. The show is tomorrow night at Halfway Jam. We always look forward to seeing Tesla out there, and, man, it's going to be great, man.
We can't wait, man. We're so stoked.